Oh, hello. What's that? You want to know what I'm reading? It's all about DNA, the thread of life. DNA can identify people, even better than fingerprints. DNA can also be found in all of our cells, such as our teeth, hair, blood, and skin. Want to know more? Here, let me show you. DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid, is the hereditary material in humans and almost all other organisms. Nearly every cell in a person's body has the same DNA. Most DNA is located in the cell nucleus, where it is called nuclear DNA, but a small amount of DNA can also be found in the mitochondria, where it is called mitochondrial DNA or mtDNA. Mitochondria are structures within cells that convert the energy from food into a form that cells can use. DNAs are not only essential in our bodies, but also in the application in the real world, specifically criminal investigations, which I will tell you a story about. But first, how does DNA help in solving these crimes? If data profiles of samples from a population were stored in a computer database or data banks, DNA typing could be applied in crimes without suspects. Investigators could compare data profiles of biological evidence samples with profiles in a data bank to search for suspects. Now you know the basis of DNA and how it is applicable in our world. Let's begin. Now, the witness
testimony started with the culprit, Valentin Saja, saw the one who was guarding the vault, which was the other person of interest, Mattis Cayley, where they think that he is an accomplice with Mattis by acting unconsciously in the robbery. After Valentin Saja knocked out Mattis Cayley, he successfully robbed the whole money inside the vault, but he did not notice that there was a sharp accessory that stabbed his finger. Yet, he did not take notice of it because he think it was fine and that he was wearing a glove, but little did he know that a drop of his blood was on the accessory. After he successfully robbed the vault, Metas returned to where he is guarding, but the other security guard saw him and pinned him down, holding both of their hands in hair.
After the incident, the security guard called the police to explain the situation in the robbery. The next day, Valentin went to the bank to see what situation he expected. It was chaotic. But the police saw Valentin Sanha and made him a person of interest. The other person of interest is Mattis Cayley, was the unconscious one because they were taught self-defense in case a robbery might occur. But they found it weird. And lastly, Branson Bettino was caught as a person of interest because the description about the culprit matches.
Your Honor, today's case is the Philippines versus Valentin Sanha.
Is the attorney ready?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, members of the jury, my name is Naomi Soriano, and me and my fellow biomedical engineers are opposing Valentin Sanha in this case. We intend to prove that he is the culprit behind this trial and to validate that Valentin Sanha is the actual culprit. May I present the evidence that we have analyzed and gathered, which are the 4 CODIS sites.
Firstly, CODIS site D21S11. As you can see, the DNA that is found in the evidence follows the pattern guanine, thymine, adenine, 3 times in the left while once on the right. The one that matches the most is suspect 1 and 2. Both follows that pattern, but if we observe closely, it is suspect 2 that has the highest percentage to match the evidential pair.
We move on to CODIS site TH01. Data says that suspect 2 has more DNA matches than the others. Suspect 1 only has 1 match, TTTC. Suspect 3 has 2 TTTC DNA match. And suspect 3 has all of the match, which are TTTC and TTTC.
Third CODIS site, DWA. The CODIS tells us that the suspect 2 matches the DNA in the hair and glove evidence.
And lastly, but definitely not the least, CODIS site AMO. According to the DNA index system, the DNA of suspect 1 matches the DNA of the hair.
Your Honor, after several hours put into this work, we strongly agree that suspect number 2 is the culprit in this case. Because you can see that in all 4 site codes sites analyzed, suspect number 2 got every much correct.
What is the chance that the suspect you think did it actually did not do it?
1 in 10,000 chances. This is because for every 10 chances, there is 1 chance that the suspect may not be the culprit. Multiply it by 4, and you will get 10,000 possibilities that indicate suspect 2 is the one who committed the crime.
How will you increase the certainty of your result?
In order to utilize STR, short tandem repeat, information as a means of human identification, the NBI established the frequency with which each allele of each of the 13 core STRs naturally occurs in people of different ethnic backgrounds. Therefore, completing all 13 coded sites that result with suspect 2 to match all of them, then that suspect is definitely guilty.
Your Honor, have you reached a verdict?
We have.
What is your verdict, Your Honor?
We, the jury, in the case of the Philippines versus Valentin Sanja, find the defendant guilty of the charge of robbery and is punished for 1 year in prison. Court is adjourned. And so the story concluded where the judge sets the punishment for the suspect. Now that is the story. Now that we've reached our end, I just hope that you fully understand how imperative DNAs are in crimes where investigators are using its full potential. Until then, bye-bye!